should like to think she knows about us. She spies us every night.
Don't be such a child, Agatha. Of course she knows about us. Why else would she wink at you through the trees at night? Why else would she burn red when you've broken a promise?
What is she like? Describe her to me again, will you?
She's bright tonight. A full moon for Agatha. And in her brown face, there are freckles, like old Frauke's face, but far prettier.
I wish I could count her freckles.
You'll get your doll all covered in the muck if you're not prudent, Agatha. Keep her above the filth.
What if she should like to be in the filth? What if she should like to be bathed in the swampy waters of the Danube while the moon watches?
She's a puppet, Agatha. A puppet does not want. A puppet does not bathe. A puppet hangs on your whim. Twist her strings and she will dance. Let her fall and she will drop. You hold the strings, Agatha. And now you're dragging her in the muck.
Do you think she holds our strings?
Do I think who holds our strings?
Why, the moon, of course. I can almost see her strings.
Do you see any strings between us and the moon?
Well, I feel them. There, on the ripples. A silver strand from her to me. It flickers on the water, and when it sways, I feel her pull.
Frauke, you monster! She could have gone right off her footing. You explain that to Madame de Lacy when she comes home smelling like the Danube.
Madame de Lacy smells like a lot worse. I don't see why we have to live with her.
You spoke those words, ungrateful monster. She's been kind to us in ways you can't yet understand. And to poor Aggie. Not everyone would take in a child with her burden.
I can hear you just fine.
Agatha, I'm sorry!
And where did you children get the idea of playing in the river after Vespers? The sun's down, and that deformed child will certainly find harm if you don't get her home.
Agatha is blind, not deformed, and the sun doesn't help her anyhow.
The sun is not the only source of light in God's kingdom, little one. The night will bring shadows that even the blind cannot ignore.
Come, Frauke. Sister Anhilda is right. The fog in the meadow will only thicken.
The subject of the vast unknown has long occupied both the realms of philosophy and the natural sciences. It is at the crossroads of experience that we find ourselves asked a vital question, one that you as students have undoubtedly yet to be faced with in your own academic experience. No, it is one that only the greatest philosophers, scientists, and mathematicians encounter in their work. A decision to tempt the laws of the physical world in the name of discovery, or to be prudent in one's own work in the grounding of God and nature. But I digress. You must forgive me, as I must conclude today's lecture on the studies of Benjamin Franklin, without whose innovation and considerable risk we would not know what we do now today about electricity and all of its uses. Thank you all.
have to get out more often, Henry. There are mountains to climb, beasts to tame, and pretty women with whom to do both.
This from a man who's slated to marry his own sister.
Adopted sister. Elizabeth is not of blood. And why shouldn't a man marry his closest childhood friend? Elizabeth has proven an open-minded and adventurous girl.
Not too plain either.
What more could I ask for?
I'd say we should go check out the ladies' book club to find out.
A library is for books, Henry. You know, books about yay big, filled with pages.
As a literature major, I've cracked the spine of maybe one or two.
Books or women.
A literarian never boasts. Come, let's go out.
Not tonight, Henry. I have to give my apologies to Professor Krempe for missing his lecture.
Well, I'll rejoin you later tonight then. The pub?
Perhaps.
Until then.
May I start by explaining how brilliant I found
And who might you be? I know you aren't the floor washer because it hasn't yet reached Thursday. And I know you aren't the university's groundskeeper because we are inside of doors. And I most optimistically doubt you to be the undertaker. For as I live and breathe, I still find myself living and breathing. So, who might you be?
Why, Victor Frankenstein.
Yes, I do recall receiving one poorly sourced essay from one Mr. Victor Frankenstein, late as usual. And I have not seen the class and since assumed him dead. But unless I've been wrong in that diagnosis, you can animate from the other side. Come to class, Victor. You might learn something well at university if only you treat it with some regularity.
My family has suffered a loss.
Who was it this time? Who was suddenly running low on Montes?
I've been studying and reading independently. In fact, I have a few experiment logs in my...
Here it is. The study of electromagnetic currents on the brain, as studied by Mr. Victor Frankenstein. Tell me, Victor, were you successful in measuring your effects?
Why, no,
Then
but...
I expect a whole lot of dead frogs to whom you owe your most sincerest apology.
I'm afraid there are.
What are your goals in the sciences, Victor? Whose work have you been reading?
Paracelsus, Albert Magnus, Kierkegaard...
Alchemists, all of them.
Well, yes.
Have you been really wasting your time with such nonsense?
Every minute. I have a lab. I've constructed it in an old mill.
Every minute you have wasted on alchemy is utterly and entirely lost. You have burdened your memory with exploded systems and useless names. Thank God, in what desert land have you lived that no one was kind enough to inform you that these fancies that you so greedily imbibe are 1,000 years old, and must these they are ancient. I little expected in this enlightened and scientific era to find a disciple of Paracelsus and Albert Magnus. My dear pupil, you must begin your studies entirely anew.
Is this old lump of arrogance ceaselessly berating the young tomorrow's scientific
Vaughn.
minds again?
Professor Volkman, I was just expressing my apologies to Professor Krempe for missing his lecture this morning.
Well, why? I'm sure there wasn't anything in it. I'm afraid, young scholar, you have held up your professor long enough and caused him to forget that we had our scheduled tea. And for that, I must thank you. Why don't you run along? I'll meet you there once the tea and your nonsense babble tempers my palate.
Very well. I hope to see you in my next lecture. We hope to get you a good standing here at the University of Ingolstadt. See you again.
So, you've taken an academic interest in the old alchemists, have you? These men to whose indefatigability of modern philosophers are indebted for most of the foundations of their knowledge. Although Professor Krempe does prefer to ignore the fringes of his study.
There is life to be found in the old wisdom.
Indeed there is, indeed there is. The labors of men of genius, however erroneously directed, scarcely ever fail in ultimately turning to the advantages of mankind. Tell me, what are your chief interests in alchemy?
To speak the truth, I'm drawn to electrostatic current and its relation to man.
Go on.
Electrostatic currents in the blood. How they can be measured, altered. I further wish to understand more about galvanism.
Chemical electricity, very good indeed.
Do you lecture on galvanism?
Not publicly, no. But every once in a while I find a student with a scientific heart and open mind to handle it.
May you guide me in finding more contemporary studies I might repeat in my small lab.
I'm happy to have gained a disciple. And if your ability matches your curiosity, I have no doubt of your success. Here, take this. In it you may find exactly what you're looking for. Keep it close, however. It is not exactly common scientific thought. But even without knowing you all too well, I can sense that you may find it helpful in your study. Take care, Mr. Frankenstein.
least in my field, you only see our lectures in class or at the pubs after class. It seems you're always getting held back in private conversations with professors.
Professor Waldman is not my professor, just a man who overheard something that caught his interest.
Well, the interest you attract, one might assume you're some serious trouble here.
Take pity, take pity. Mother is not well. She needs a bed and clean food. Take
That
pity.
woman is a doctor.
Yes, doctors are quite expensive indeed, sir. Take pity.
This is all I have.
A pittance.
It's all you'll get today, I'm afraid.
Take pity, a newborn baby need of your kindness.
You do attract all sorts. Come, let's go out.
Not tonight, Henry. I have a few experiments I would like to try in my lab.
You and that forsaken fortress of yours. I saw the lab assistant you hired walking up the way last night as I left Kaiser's pub. She was limping.
Fritzy twisted her ankle while out on a walk.
Well, it seems that you were always with her. Tell me, does your wife know that you employ that woman alone in the lab?
Fritzy is a lab assistant, nothing more. I tell her to mix a solution and she mixes it. She would be a great scientist if there was a women's school. I treat it as my duty to employ her and to teach her what little I learned.
Seems there's a lot of things you could teach her in that shit laboratory you claim legit.
Victor. He worked too hard.
Has anyone come today?
Only one, a solicitor. He came by around 1 in the afternoon.
Did he see anything, smell anything?
He won't be a concern.
I worry after that last time. How's your ankle?
I am fine. Just a twist on the riverbed. Enough to twist it just so. Well, what about you? By the looks of it, you caught someone by the jaw.
Just someone from university.
I hope it wasn't over anything trivial.
Just a friend.
Then I hope you never call me a friend. I like my jaw the way it is.
I think we'll have to start over. I don't think the mill will provide this much charge.
What is that book you have buried yourself in? You haven't put it down since you got back. Let's have a look. On the scientific possibilities of galvanism and electrostatic reanimation. Where did you get this?
A professor.
He just gave you this. Did you tell him? Did you tell anyone? Victor, this is dangerous. Does he know? Does he know?
He knows nothing. I said nothing. We spoke only briefly, but he wishes to tutor me in a few theorems.
Be careful, Victor Frankenstein. Once what we have done in these walls escapes, we cannot put it back.
We have done nothing. Without success, we have done nothing. How many dogs do we have left?
Not one.
What? Where have they all gone?
The Danube, mostly. I buried too. What do you say about doing the experiments again tonight?
When do you expect to procure more dogs?
They do not seem to be as prevalent in the back alleys as when we began this work, Victor. I presume at the rate of our current experiments that we haven't plumbed their number down by quite a ratio. Quite a ratio indeed, Victor.
It hasn't been that many, Fritzy.
More than you realize. I should know. With all the late night trips to dump them off in the river, I should know how many there have been.
Well, we'll have to find another one. I have great confidence in this new set of calculations.
I have a specimen available. Already in the chamber, in fact.
Splendid. Why didn't you mention it? Is the specimen fresh?
Been there since a little after 1 o'clock, I'd say.
Great. What size is the beast?
Large.
A large canine is hard to revive, Fritzy. What breed is the canine?
It's no canine.
No.
Why not? He's ready!
That thing is no he, and it may never be. Just a collection of parts with no whole, with the eyes of a moneylender, the spleen of a musician, and the hands of a convicted strangler.
Have faith in your own creation, Victor.
We have to see the success in the reanimation of a recently deceased canine before we
Victor, have faith in your own creation!
We can't. Without a heart, the cardiovascular system can't respond.
Do you trust in my abilities, Victor? I'm not as skilled or as studied as you, but I have a sure hand.
Of course you do.
A sure and steady hand. My mother taught me how to sew, and I worked in the textile mill as a child. Mother helped me sew together all the quilt work and the scraps that I would collect. Like you have done with your creation. Like we have done.
What have you done today, Fritzy? Why do you speak with such urgency?
Forgive me.
For what?
The spark of creation, you named it so yourself, said would wash over you late at night as you worked at your table. It came to me, Victor. I finished quilt work that you began. Sewed it up, the final patch. He will rest on ice no more, Victor. It's time to bring him back.
That thing has nowhere to come back from. Gathered from the gallows with the brain of a mute and, dare I say it again, no heart.
That was the final patch.
What did you do?
I did it for you. I sewed in a heart. Fresh.
From where?
Don't ask me that.
Fritzy.
At around 1 o'clock, the solicitor, he came by asking all sorts of questions. He put his foot in the door and he wouldn't leave. It was wet out, rained all morning. I almost fell myself on my twisted ankle. And when I slammed the door, he just sort of
He fell.
down the stairs and onto the wet landing. When he reached the bottom, he didn't move. We couldn't have him found there at the steps at the bottom, not moving.
What did you do?
I stared at him for about an hour. Thought about who he might be, and who might have loved him, and who he might have loved. And then I thought of his heart still warm. I did just as you would have done, like I've seen you do with the dogs and with your creation. It has all the parts necessary now, Victor. It only needs your touch.
We said we wouldn't try another human, not us.
This is all we have!
A solicitor off the street!
Victor,
We cannot do this, Fritzy! The dogs were one thing. We can fill the river with dogs and bury the rest in the yard. But this? What gives you the courage to think we are ready?
Only men talk about courage. Women don't have the luxury. No one is ever ready for the things they do, Victor. The creature is in the chamber. How will we generate the electric charge?
Will take more than we had thought. You did this all by yourself?
For you.
For science. Fire up the mechanism. We'll be using our own electricity and that of Zeus himself. Take this lightning rod up to the roof. Oh, your ankle, I can do it myself.
Start the process. Victor!
I know. must have been careless assembling it!
No, I did everything with great care.
Then this is just another failure. Take it out to the river and be rid of it. This will be our last experiment.
No, we have to try it. We have to keep trying.
To what end? This thing we're playing at, it's not natural. We're out of our scope.
Really, Victor? We're out of our scope?
Yes!
Is it?
It's a lie.
I'll get some water. Here.
Stay back. We don't know what this thing's capable of.
Victor?
Hold on.
Are you okay?
It is not evil! It's only mimicking what it sees. Watch. It is not!
What do we do?
We find it.
You're on your own.
Jeez, you look worse than I do, and I've just run 3 blocks in the rain.
Did you see anything on the path?
Yes, rain.
No, anything unnatural. Anything that would cause you to take interest in just how unnatural it was.
Yes, this rain. It's almost as otherworldly as your complexion. Tell me, have you been getting enough sun these days?
This is no time for your humor, Henry. This is a very heavy storm.
I agree. It really started on me on my way home from Kaiser's pub. I figured you wouldn't mind it if I dropped by.
Henry, Henry,
Are you all right?
I don't know.
You know yourself, Victor Frankenstein. Have you been working in this storm? What is all this?
Chemistry, fumes. I've been working in the most horrific fumes. Suppose you're right about me not getting enough sun lately. The fumes have undoubtedly had an effect on me. Now, if you don't mind, I think I'll clean up here. You lied to me, Henry. I do suppose you lied to me.
In what matter?
Just now, you said you were on your way home from the pub. But this laboratory is in no directional choice from the pub.
Guilty. I came to check on you, Victor. I came because you haven't been acting yourself. I can forgive you striking me at the university today, but I have received letters from your fiancée, Elizabeth. She says you haven't responded to the one she sent you. I wrote back to her. I did not remark how very ill you appear to me, so thin and pale. You look as if you've been dead. A man must honor his love, Frankenstein, above all else.
I suppose you're right. I've allowed myself to be so occupied with one occupation that I have not allowed myself sufficient rest. I got all the letters, I'm just behind in reading a few of them.
You haven't responded to a single letter from your fiancé or your mother in over 2 months. I wrote to say that you were fine and would get back to them. Do not make lies out of my letters, Victor. Some of us still value our word.
October the 4th, my dearest Victor. A time that seems of age to me these days. I have been kept most occupied with spending every spare moment I have on you and the joy you bring me, my love. Mother is no help, of course. She doesn't understand. I've been planning, of course, selecting the arrangements for our ceremony. Even to write, it seems fantastical. Our ceremony. Our wedding ceremony. Oh, as children, do you remember when we would make pretend? And you would be such a stern father to our imaginary children. And the goats. Oh, I've selected blue as a sort of wedding color for us, dear. Oh, you mustn't object. Blue and white ribbon in the chapel and Italian white flowers everywhere. I've looked into it. I've even spoken to Deacon about it. I do miss you. Please do write the moment you do receive this. Your sweet, innocent love, Elizabeth.
November the 1st. Victor. I've been flitting about the house like an uncaged songbird. I shan't stand it much longer. Young love deserves some enjoyment, I suppose. I expect you'll be returning home this Christmas. Is that right? Your father would love to see you. He hasn't been well. But don't worry, there's a sickness going around, it seems. Please write to let us know of your holiday plans so we can best prepare. William and Ernest send their best. As your brothers, you'll be glad to hear, have been living up to your level of mischief in your absence. Ernest is growing fast and has decided he wishes to become a true Swiss and join the service. Please write. Mother.
November the 22nd. My dearest husband-to-be. I feel quite foolish to bother you, but it seems that somewhere between Geneva and Ingolstadt, your letter has been lost from its passage. I have been most prudently minding the post and have not received it here. I have spoken with the postman and have him at his word that he will do everything in his power to ensure its safety to me. I do miss your tone in writing. Please, if you can recall what you last said, do try and recreate it for me, so that your words may not be lost. With greatest anticipation and hope, Elizabeth.
December the 5th. Victor, I am most confused and worried. I know it is early for you to have left your apartment at university, but with no word, we can only wonder. If you have left your apartment early, then I can only imagine that this letter will cross paths with you on the roadway. Snow is getting thicker, and we have not heard from you. I trust you will not keep dear Elizabeth waiting on your word a moment longer. Please write or travel. The holiday is fast approaching, and we have not a word from you. Father is growing more anxious and weaker by the day. We have had a doctor in. But I do not mean to worry you in a letter. I must insist that you write. For Elizabeth's sake. And for your father.
December the 9th. Victor, this isn't amusing anymore, Victor. You wouldn't believe the things that Alfie tells me she heard in town. People are talking, making jokes. Have you forgotten me? I want to hold your letters up. Its proof is contrary. But as I have not received any, I cannot defend you. We are to be married in a matter of months, Victor. Please, have compassion.
Elizabeth is growing weak, Victor. Her heart is breaking. I did not raise you to neglect her. If your father knew. We need to hear from you, Victor. If you plan on seeing us at all this winter, we will have to coordinate sending a carriage to the station to pick you up. Answer our letters, Victor. It is imperative that we hear from you.
The flowers won't be available from Italy anymore. It seems the florist didn't understand what we wanted. What I wanted. So we are back to looking locally. Heavens. Am I planning a wedding for a man who will not write?
If this letter should find anyone to read it, please send notice to the care of the Dean of Students at the University of Ingolstadt. Victor Frankenstein's family needs desperately to get in communication with him.
Victor, things here are not well. The nurse is coming every day now, and when she is not with your father, she's with your mother, and her growing ailment. I need you home, Victor. Please come home.
All is well here, of course, Victor. We miss you. Your father is dead.
I still find myself living and breathing.
Isn't that him over there? Oh, Victor. Your glasses. Victor Frankenstein.
I do believe you're correct. That is Victor Frankenstein.
It's a wonder I haven't recognized him. He hasn't been to a lecture in almost 2 months.
He invited me over to his laboratory to show me his setup. He is quite an interesting pupil. You should give him more time.
A student must be interested in learning for him to be worth teaching. That student never shows up.
Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Watch where you're going, you little monster! Oh, I see. Here, take some coins for you and your friends and run along.
Sorry, sir. Thank you.
Come, Agatha. We must get back to the cart. Mom needs help loading potatoes. Not a good day to be selling potatoes, it seems. Thank you for your kindness, sir.
Watch out for your sister. A train platform is a dangerous place for one like her.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I see. Mute, are you? I think you're wicked. Oh, you smell like the river. Mother will be upset if she found that you were swimming in the Danube. But okay, you wicked rank monster. Well then, the wicked shall lead the blind. Lead me on, Frauke. Come on, Mom will be upset with this boat. Let's go.
Agatha!
Agatha, come here now!
Leave her alone, you!
Let go of her!
What is this stuff, Evelyn? What did this poor man do to deserve your cruelty? He's hideous. Look, Mama!
He was holding Agatha's hand!
And where were you?
We got separated.
Go get the rest of the sacks from the cart now, and take your sister. I am so sorry, sir, for the trouble they have caused you. They have good Christian children, I assure you. Although they do not act as such. What is your name? Sir, what is your name? You poor thing, a mute. Are you here alone? Come with us and we will help you find your home. I am Mrs. DeLacy. Those children all over there, those are my wards. Orphans, all of them. Do you have a family? I suppose not. People are cruel. Treat others with the love you wish to be shown in life. No. Come with us and we will cook it for you. Our home is yours to share. Make yourself comfortable, and in the morning we will help you find your own.
He hasn't spoke a word, Mom. How do you know he understands you?
Kindness is the universal language, Sappy. When Frauke came to us, she didn't speak a word either, remember?
She was an infant.
We are all infants in the eyes of the Lord. Innocent, frail, and worthy of love.
Yes, Mama.
He can't be from here, can he? We would have seen him before.
The city of Ingolstadt is a big one, children. What goes on behind its many walls and compartments, we cannot know. It's okay to unhood yourself, sir.
What happened to him?
If it is for us to know, he will tell us.
He hasn't told us anything.
Look into his eyes and he tells you the story of his heart. You have been hurt. I can tell. Deeper than this cut. But you were innocent as is all. I can see it in your stare. Let me get you something hot to eat. Watch the children while I fix it.
Forgive Frauke. She's a monster. I think she likes you.
I do not.
Yes, I think she likes you very much. You're the first man to come stay with us. It will take some time to get used to, even if it is just for the night. But we will need a name for you, our first man.
Adam,
Why Adam?
the first man.
He looks more like an Ansel to me.
Adam it is. I'm Seth, S-A-F-I-E. And this is Frauke, F-R-A-U-K-E. And of course, Agatha, A-G-A.
He can't spell if he can't speak.
Hey!
That's right! A for Agatha, A-G-A-T-H-A.
Hey!
Yes, just like Adam, A-D-A-M. Agatha loves playing outside and hearing books read to her. What do you like?
He likes being an idiot.
Frauke, shut up!
Read to us. Read. He will like it. Read to us from Paradise Lost.
Okay, Frauke. Agatha, go help out with the soup, and then we will read from the book. Agatha loves being read to. I had to learn to read just so I could read to her. When her older sister Justine left to become a maid.
You shouldn't tell him everything about us. He still is a stranger.
Well, we should tell him about strangers then.
Like the Frankensteins.
Justine works in a big manor house out in Geneva. The thing she hears. Everyone has their own bedroom, and there's running water on both floors. Imagine.
There's a lot more than water running in that house.
I suppose. Anyway, the Frankensteins took our older sister Justine in as a maid when she was 13, and she has worked there for 5 years now. Cleaning, helping prepare dinners like you have never seen. She sends us money. You want to hear more about them? Ma doesn't like us to gossip.
They are most immoral. Greedy mostly.
Frauke, his roots tell stories about the wealthy. Remember, it is their money which keeps us fed and Justine warm.
Justine tells us stories about them. Like the crazy old father who died in his bed.
Alphonse,
And the sons who play tricks on the house staff.
Ernest, and William. But Ernest died just a few weeks ago. Scarlet fever. Just like Alphonse.
Justine has fallen in love.
I wouldn't say that. She likes the other son, William. He's not like the others. They sneak out, her and William, and meet in a tool shed where they talk all evening. She says he's very handsome, but he's saddened by the death of Alphonse and Ernest. The whole house is in blackness. The mother is ill too. She misses her husband and sons. The other son, Victor, is away at college studying constantly and won't write.
He is engaged to his own sister.
She's adopted, Frauke. Don't be going sensational about it. Elizabeth and Victor are engaged but never see each other.
Justine thinks he has another woman in the city.
Frauke!
Justine says.
That's enough about the Frankensteins.
Frankenstein. Frankenstein.
Looks like he likes the drama of high society.
Oh, Constable, how may we help you?
Hi, I've just circled your farmhouse, just checking things out.
But why?
May we speak apart from each other?
Of course. What is it, Constable?
There have been reports of a strange being lurking around outside the woods near the train station. I'm just checking the surrounding areas to see if anybody's seen it.
It?
Original reports were of a man, but then Henry Kilmer showed us some goats that have been slaughtered in the most unnatural way. We suspect hellhounds on the loose, but we cannot be sure. Keep your children safe tonight, miss. And if we should come across anything, I'll be by in the morning to check on you.
Thank you, Constable. I will keep watch.
God protect you. Stay safe.
And you as well, sir.
It's Victor's! The notebook belongs to Victor's. It's full of technical writing and scientific diagrams I don't quite understand. But tucked in the binding is a letter from Elizabeth.
It can't be Shoma.
No, we can't!
We can't show Ma what?
We've gotten him to speak. Adam speaks.
Adam?
days now, but it's clear he knows how to speak. We just have to make him more comfortable.
Yes, child. You can start by feeding. It will warm his heart.
You look tired, Mama. Go rest. We can care for him.
Thank you, Sappy. Children, don't go out tonight. Any of you.
Did the constable say?
Just don't leave the house. Especially Adam.
Yes, Mama.
Mom,
Thank you.
tell him about Elizabeth.
She confides in Justine. Tells her she worries about Victor's fidelity. Apparently, he has an apartment in town, but also rents a second place, a strange factory near the river. Justine tells her not to worry.
But Justine herself suspects something. She said there was this one time when he came home, he threw himself in a fit when questioned about his studies. He locked himself in a room all night and left abruptly the next morning, taking with him 2 of their best hunting dogs.
Where did you get this?
What is it?
This, Agatha, is Victor's notebook. And tucked in the back is a letter from Elizabeth.
Frankenstein's notebook?
Frankenstein!
Quiet, you need to wake Mom! Why does he repeat that name?
Perhaps he has seen Victor.
I don't suppose anyone of the Frankenstein family would be caught in a room breathing as a freak like this.
Adam is not a freak. Even I can see that he's not.
Agatha is right. They must know each other somehow. He has Victor's notebook.
Justine would have told us.
Right, well, it must be Providence then, that we, the sisters of Justine, the housemaid of Elizabeth, the adopted sister fiancé Victor, somehow acquaintance of Adam.
Have you seen the house? The Frankenstein house? Justine tells such fantastical details. The walls are twice as tall as any house needs them to be. There is water running clear in every tap. 2 kitchens inside the house. Carpets on top of carpets. Justine cleans them all. Well, her and the others. Justine is a parlor maid. She tends to all the arrangements in the house, cleans the draperies, and polishes the silver. And eavesdropped on Elizabeth and her best friend Elsie to relate their stories to us. The family also employs a nurse, Alka from Norway, full-time ever since Alphonse grew weary. And a deacon has come to stay with them while he studies and ministers. He brought with him a nun from Ingolstadt, Sister Reinhild, who we used to play tricks on while she was our teacher at the convent. Then there's a shepherdess who tends to the Frankenstein's goat and is always filthy. She has to eat in the servants' mudroom for fear of trekking on the rugs. Justine promises to ask if we can visit her someday, but with the fever in the house, she won't even come home for fear of bringing it home. The fever has transformed the house perhaps most of all. It brings death and blackness.
You've been staring out of the storm again, Justine.
I was just watching William and the shepherdess bring in the goats. One of them was giving them quite a lot of trouble.
I don't doubt that you're watching William.
Nurse Alka!
Don't let them see you idle, Justine. Come, helpful.
Caroline's mourning is bringing down my spirits as well.
As it should. This house has lost 2 great men, Alphonse and not his son Ernest. A woman like Caroline shouldn't have to bury her husband and a child in the same season. The fever has won over them, and will get her as low she doesn't confine herself to bed more often. She spent more time at their sides than any of us, and the fever is shared among those who keep close company.
Am I in danger? I clean for both of them. Their sheets are soaked with sweat in the mornings. Am I in danger of the fever?
You will know it if it visits you, and you wear your mask while tending to them. Caroline couldn't keep it all, the poor thing. We should all hope to have what Alphonse and Ernest had been taken care for by someone like her.
And what about William? Does he have it yet? The fever.
William should be fine. He spends enough time in the free air. That boy's unstoppable. Elizabeth, on the other hand, is careless as Mrs. Frankenstein. In and out of Alphonse without a mask. I told her. But children do not fear their own death when faced with the parents passing. It's only after the brothers and sisters are gone too, that they feel their own mortality. Sewing from Carol when possible. She may carry the fever. Keep your head down and wear a mask when doing her linen. But we cannot be here to speak this way.
But what if?
Master Williams!
Nurse, maid, good evening to you both.
How you call that outside good is a surprise to me.
The good rain never hurt any man.
Tell that to the sinners of doing the great flood.
Well, are we sinners then?
Just see.
You have nothing to worry about. Look, the rain is beginning to clear. I might be able to hunt after all. Foxes like to come out after a good rain. The dogs need to go for a walk. I won't be home in time for dinner. Don't set up late for me.
Mrs. Frankenstein would be most upset.
Then everything will be normal.
What are you fixing for the family for dinner tonight? It mustn't be anything too heavy or upsetting for Caroline.
What?
I'm just looking like a mad woman speaking to myself. William seems to have distracted you.
No, I was listening. Dinner is radish soup with duck and endives.
I am not so old that I do not see love in your face when he walks through. You're 17 now, Justine. Of course you're going to take notice of the men in your life. But he is surely above your station.
No, you couldn't be more wrong.
You think he would ever be allowed to have interest in a parlor maid?
No, you're wrong about me. I have no interest in William. None. He's too much in the fields and hunting too often. He jumps to conclusions way too quickly. Oh, his manners. Have you ever seen a wealthy young man with less regard to society? And he smells like the woods. Oh, and his chin is just too far oddly shaped.
Now you're being silly.
It was you who began it. You were silly to think that I would have interest in him. Being interested in me. Ha! That man was I a wealthy bachelor, and I, well, an old maid before I allow him any closeness with me. Mark my words, Nurse Elka. He will be dead before showing interest in me, and I will be dead before showing interest in him.
Who will be dead? Why, Justine, do you have a secret love?
Okay. Jessie was just telling me of someone she knew the bad fortune that came upon.
Do tell.
Oh, there's nothing to tell.
Oh, Justine, you remind me of my own maid, but far more interesting. Elizabeth has told me of your story, a French refugee separated from her sisters on a farm near Ingolstadt. Oh, I've met a Frenchman who spoke of the situation you have left. Oh, you must tell us of the action you have seen.
I was very young.
So it's true.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I must see to dinner.
Not until you tell us who this boy is who has your interest.
I will see Caroline.
I should go with her.
But you just said you had to see to dinner, which isn't Justine. Are you trying to make an
Alfie! There you are.
Elizabeth, I was just questioning your parlor maid. She has the most interesting...
Oh, Alfie, there. You are horrid.
Maybe later then.
Do you torture your own house staff?
Oh, of course not. They're a droll board, the lot of them. Father employs such unnotables. I thought the footman would be interesting, but upon further questioning, I came to learn he's an Italian. Can you believe it? And a bore at that. Far more drama in your house this season.
It has been a hard winter.
I didn't mean, Elizabeth, I'm sorry.
No, it's really fine, Elfie. A woman ought to lose her father someday. But not before she is married, Elfie. He was supposed to see me married. Now, Ernest, dear Ernest. Sister Reinheld and Deacon are administering last rites to Ernest now. And hopefully all this will be behind us.
They would want you to enjoy your wedding, your father and Ernest. They love you, and you know they approve of Victor. At least you know the family likes you. Henry's family thinks I'm too assertive. I don't know why. I told them I wasn't. Oh, Henry needs to propose soon. Or maybe you could tell Victor to tell him to propose. Oh, he needs to propose this month or soon. Otherwise, we'll miss the window for a summer wedding. And I simply couldn't wait another year. You do promise to tell me as I have told you, Elizabeth. I want it shades of lilac with a string quintet. The symphony, of course. Mozart entirely. None of this horrid noise of Beethoven.
Your wedding will be beautiful, Elfie.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Yours will be too. Victor's a good man, with a great breeding. Not the best at written correspondence, I must say. But I'm sure he has other qualities
has many qualities, Elfie.
I jest. I only jest. When was the last time he wrote you?
When did Victor last write you? I like the flowers you chose, the ones from the Italian cellar. The flowers won't be available anymore, Elfie.
Oh, how dreadful. Perhaps they'll come in season again in time for my wedding. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I didn't mean to make this about me again. You've been through so much. You adored those flowers.
Your wedding will be beautiful, Elfie. Italian flowers everywhere.
You think so? Well, Henry needs to propose first, of course.
You will be married and a mother before I hear from my fiancé.
Oh, don't speak so solemnly. It's bad for the face. Your brother was a good man.
They are beyond this world and into the next, child, your father and brother. Take faith that they will be judged kindly, as we all strive to be in our time of judgment.
Thank you, Deacon. Sister Reinhild.
The burial is set for Sunday afternoon. All the arrangements have been made. I've just spoken with your mother about it. Ernest will be in the churchyard, right next to your father, Alphonse.
They would have wanted to be close. They were always so close.
Elizabeth, I'm going to make tea for the deacon and Sister Reinhild. Would you and Elfie like some?
Yes, Mother. I have Justine make some.
I can make tea, dear. I need something to keep my mind busy.
She doesn't look well.
Grief is a hard weight for a mother.
How many have been buried in that churchyard this past month? William said that...
Far too many. This fever has been spreading the country.
Do you tend to many with the sickness?
We've been to many houses for.
How do you think Mother is doing?
Grief will take its toll.
No, not grief. She's been at their bedsides for so long now. Do you think she will be infected by the illness?
Most certainly not. The Lord punishes not those who tend to the sick. She will be fine.
But she has breathed their air for so long. And Nurse Elka says
You place so much faith in a nurse who cannot save your father or your brother. It is the duty of the family and the church to tend to those who are sick.
Yes, Deacon.
I made you all tea.
Mother, you are sweating and not yourself.
You all think I have it, don't you? What were you saying about me while I wasn't in the room? What did they say about me, Deacon?
Mrs. Frankenstein.
I know you all think I'm ill. It's the reason you don't drink. Fine. Justine, dinner in my room, please, and clear the tea service. No one is taking the tea tonight.
Yes, Mother.
My Alphonse, my Ernest, my Victor doesn't write, and my Elizabeth keeps distance. At least my little William still stands by me. Where is William?
He's hunting fox.
A provider. Someone is keeping this house provided for. Justine, dinner in my room, please. Good night, Deacon, sister. Thank you both.
Mother,
Blame not her for these attitudes. It is the sickness.
You admit that she seems sick to you.
She is to be watched, but not outcast. Be a daughter to your mother, child. She's giving you her son. Think on that, treat her with respect next time.
Yes, Deacon. Let's go help Justine with dinner. Would you two like your dinner prepared to your rooms as well?
Sister Reinheld and I are not hungry. We are far too weary. We shall ride out in the morning. This is our last night here for the week. Thank you.
Justine should have shuttered the curtain and closed the windows for the night. Most forgetful she is. Deacon? Look. Out there by the gate.
What is it?
A man. There's a man at the gate.
William?
No, not William. Should we let him in?
It is not our place, nor our house to let in guests. Close the shutters. We need to ride out early in the morning.
Yes, Deacon.
How was the herd? Goats are honest. They don't mind the rain. They talk to me as an equal, swilling compliments about my grade.
Well, I wish I had your sense.
Don't tell too late, Justine. The box is coming in heavy.
Well, it's clear air than that in the house, I can tell you that.
Trouble brewing in the Frankenstein's manner?
If only you knew how lovely you are to tend to their livestock and not their daily lives.
Say no more, Justine. Take care.
Victor?
Justine?
What are you doing here? Why haven't you come back inside?
I've only just arrived. Why are you outside at this hour?
I went to go for a walk.
It's a bit late for a walk, isn't it?
Well, yes. But I seem to have misplaced my gate key, and I locked the gate behind me. Oh, you mustn't tell anybody. I promise to find my key in the morning.
Why did you lock your gate?
You'll think I'm silly.
Allow me to judge you first.
I've taken recently to locking my bedroom when I sleep. It's foolish, I know. What can harm me in that house? But I like it when locks are firmly shut. I must have locked the gate behind me out of habit. Or superstition.
What were you hoping to keep in behind it?
Victor, you read me like an open book. You always have. May I speak frankly?
Please.
I fear the fever in that house. The deacon says we can't catch it caring for Alphonse and Ernest. When they were alive, that is. I'm so sorry.
Ernest?
You didn't know?
Caroline and Elizabeth only wrote of father. He said nothing of Ernest.
It happened a week ago. The deacon finally came to bless him. I'm so sorry.
Ernest has been dead a week. In that house?
Caroline didn't want him moved before the deacon could arrive back from Ingolstadt. But he beat you here.
I arrived by train a few days ago, but I stayed in an inn to clear my head. I knew father was weak, but Ernest? I had no idea the fever was so potent.
Well, the deacon said we could not catch it caring for Alphonse and Ernest, but Nurse Welko warned me to always wear a mask when tending to them, and to get out in the free air as much as possible. Silly, I know.
It's not silly, Justine. It's scientifically sound. You're smart, those are the nurse.
But Caroline won't listen.
Is she sick? Justine, you must tell me if she's sick. What about William? What about my Elizabeth?
Oh,
Are they sick?
Elizabeth is fine. I believe she's fine. But your mother, she's weakened by the grief. Whether it is solely the grief or the grief and the illness, it's impossible to tell.
What does the nurse say?
Caroline won't allow her to examine her.
You are wise to spend time out here in the free air, Justine. How long has it been since you went home? To your family in the farmhouse?
Oh, Victor, I couldn't go home. I couldn't bring them the fever.
Justine, you've done too much for my family.
Your family took me in and gave me work. Enough money to send back to the farmhouse and the others. The Frankensteins have given me everything. Security, belonging. I can't leave them.
It's William, isn't it?
What? No. What?
You're, wearing locket, Justine.
Oh, well, it must have slipped out.
It's all right, Justine. How long?
A few months.
I'm happy for you both.
I'm not wealthy. I have no breeding.
The science of attraction doesn't always follow the rules of society.
Oh, but you mustn't tell Caroline. It would ruin her. She views me as her best chance at grandchildren. I've spoken too much. I'm sorry. Victor, you must forgive me.
Her best chance at grandchildren.
Aside from...
She didn't think I was coming home. Did she think I'd forgotten Elizabeth?
Victor, this is not a conversation for a parlor maid. Please forgive...
Tell me, Justine, is Elizabeth losing faith?
Please let me go.
You spend every day with them. Is Elizabeth losing faith?
I don't know.
Tell me, Justine, what have you heard? What have you heard in that house all day?
They have lost so much. Alphonse and Ernest.
My father and my brother. I lost them too.
You never came. Your father's funeral, and you never came.
When a man practices in science, he's held captive on the edge of a frontier. I could not have left my study, it all would have been lost. They've never understood that.
I don't judge you, Victor.
I tried. I will make it right with Elizabeth.
She'll like that.
Mother gave that locket to William. She will know it by the sight of it.
And I'll keep it hidden.
You've nothing to fear from these people, Justine.
Your family.
Your family, too. Mother views you like a daughter and always has. You forget she once adopted a girl just like you.
Elizabeth. But I have a mother, Miss DeLacy. I have a family.
You should be getting inside, Justine. If anything worse than the fever exists, it's out here in this mist.
William and I meet in the shed after the shepherdess goes back to bed in her cabin.
Is he really out this late?
Well, he went hunting with the dogs to go hunt foxes, but he should be back this way. Victor.
Yes?
Glad you returned. William? No. Justine.
Frankenstein.
Yes. This is the manor of the Frankenstein family. Who are you, sir?
Frankenstein! Justine! Frankenstein.
I'm William Frankenstein.
Frankenstein!
Testimony. Now, miss, you said you found young Justine Moritz in the stable the next morning. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And can you describe to us in the general state in which you found her?
She was sleeping in hay. She looked disheveled, but calm.
And in your experience in the livestock estate, a job which would place you in that very stable, did it ever occur to your knowledge for Justine to sleep there in the past?
I have never seen her sleep there, no.
The prosecution is now invited to question the witness.
Your Honor, if it would be allowable, I would like to question the accused directly, with your permission.
Permission granted. Shepherdess, you may return to the gallery.
Now, I would like to ask Justine a few common questions about that horrible night. First, what were you doing out of the estate on the grounds so late in the evening?
I went to get away from the house for a spell to get fresh air.
Yes, and why were you out on a night like that in the first place? A parlor maid has little reason to be out on the race.
It was not yet raining when I went out, sir.
How well do you know William Frankenstein?
What?
How well do you know William Frankenstein?
I've known him ever since I was 13.
And in your time living with him, have you ever found yourself arguing with him or in trouble due to something he may have caused?
Never. William never. I've never been in trouble with the Frankenstein family in my time of employment.
And would you say that you harbor any negative emotions or feelings towards him?
The prosecution should recognize that she has already stated that she was not in trouble with the family.
Your Honor, I find oftentimes that women in times of stress are not completely in control of their emotions. You must agree.
Granted.
Now, what did you and William argue about on the night of your murder?
We never fought.
The evidence is not in your favor, young woman. Need we repeat what has already been testified in this court today?
God knows how entirely innocent I am. But I do not pretend that my protestation should acquit me. I rest my innocence on a plain and simple explanation of the facts which have been forced against me. I hope the character I've always borne will incline my judges to a favorable interpretation, to where any circumstance seems doubtful or suspicious.
Well spoken for a parlor maid. I'm impressed you've seen with your self-defense here today.
The truth and the Lord are on my side.
Why were you out that night?
I didn't mean to be out so late. I meant to make it back to the house.
As I imagine, William did as well. Next, we will call character witnesses. If you're as pure as heart as you say, this should work in your favor. Our first witness, Deacon Harold Stein.
What is it, Victor?
I thought I saw nothing.
You are most strange. Why are you acting like this?
Do you not see?
I see that you are not well.
I cannot testify today.
She needs us.
Deacon Stein, are you fully aware of the consequences of today's proceedings and the facts of the case as they are yet revealed?
I am.
And do you swear on an oath to aid this court in the search for truth and justice in the court against Justine Moritz?
I do by the Lord.
Deacon Stein, you've been called upon as character witness for the accused Justine Moritz. How long have you known Miss Moritz?
Only the past few weeks, as I visited the family in mourning for Alphonse and Ernest.
And what observations did you make about the parlor maid?
Aside from a childishness and apparent distractibility, she did not pose any notable faults in the home.
Gentleman prosecutor?
Thank you, Your Honor. Deacon Stein, as a man of the cloth, you deal with both joyous and solemn times in the lives of your parishioners, do you not?
I am called to tend to those in times of mirth and mourning.
And in your time at the Frankenstein Manor, did you ever find Justine to come to you, perhaps for confession?
Never.
And when you look into the eyes of Justine, a woman of low birth, surviving off the kindness of the Frankenstein family, yet found sleeping in apparent guilt in the stable of the very house that took her in, do you find any of that evil?
Evil has many forms, has many ways to reveal themselves. There are some evils that have not yet revealed themselves.
Yes, yes. But we are here today to judge evil for ourselves. That's why this court and its judges have convened. Can you speak on the subject of murder, Deacon? What does it require of one to take another's life?
To take life is to usurp one of the two greatest powers reserved to God alone.
And what is the second greatest power?
To give life to the lifeless.
I am not well. I need air.
And seeing that no man can give life outside of the sacred and accepted method involving himself, his wife, and the Lord, would you agree that the decision to take life unjustly is the greatest sin available to mankind?
In many ways, yes.
Thank you, Deacon.
We will now hear from the character witness, Victor Frankenstein.
You are not real! Just a trick of my mind!
Victor Frankenstein. If Mr. Victor Frankenstein is not in the courtroom, we will move on. Our next witness is Sister Reinhold. Sister Reinhold, would you please approach? Thank you, Deacon. You may return to the gallery. Sister Reinhold, are you fully aware of today's proceedings and the consequences of the case as they are yet revealed?
I am.
And do you swear an oath to aid this court in search for truth and justice in the death of William Frankenstein?
I do by the Lord.
Sister Reinhold, you've been called upon as a character witness for the accused Justine Moritz. How long have you known Miss Moritz?
I did not know Justine well at all, and I had only seen her at the house as I attended the sick with Deacon Stein these past weeks.
I see. And how would you have described her, but weren't you the first one to see her the morning after William's murder?
I was.
And how would you have described her?
Disheveled, unkept, as if she had been sleeping with pigs. Uneasy, afraid.
Gentleman prosecutor?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sister, how was Justine dressed?
She had on the same dress as the night before that I had seen her in it, and around her neck was the locket, hanging loose.
Yes, the locket we have heard of from Frau Caroline's testimony. The same locket given to William by Caroline, yet found inexplicably on Justine after the tragic murder.
She killed William.
You are an apparition! You are not real! Yet you follow me!
You killed William.
She killed William.
No!
That is for the judges to decide, Sister Reinhold.
She killed William and took his mother's locket from around his neck.
I know how heavily and fatally this locket weighs against me, but I have no evidence in proving it. Where is Victor? He testified today. Where is he? He was there. That night I spoke with him.
Justine, reserve yourself, please. We will next call our next witness, Sister Alphonse. Nurse Elka? Thank you. Nurse Elka, are you fully aware of today's proceedings and the facts of the case as they are yet revealed?
I am.
And are you fully aware of the consequences of today's proceedings?
I am.
Sister Elka, you've been called as character witness for the accused Justine Moritz. How long have you known Miss Moritz?
For almost a year, I have been in the house since scarlet fever first struck the Frankensteins and Alphonse. Rest his soul.
How would you describe Justine's role in the household?
We were friends, she and I. She had been there much longer, of course. She told me all about the family.
A gossip?
No, certainly not a gossip, but someone who cares for the family. The Frankensteins with the 3 boys, and of course Elizabeth.
Prosecution is now invited to question the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nurse Elka, you mentioned the 3 Frankenstein boys. Did you know Justine to harbor any will of them?
Not that I would know.
She never spoke ill of Victor, Ernest, or most importantly, William.
I never heard her speak ill of Victor or Ernest, no.
But William.
That's what I said.
You mentioned Victor and Ernest, but you omitted William.
Well,
Please, Nurse Elka, anything you have to say is most important to today's proceedings. There is no shame in sharing the truth.
she's my friend. Justine is my friend.
But what has she said of William that gives you pause today?
I once thought she had taken fancy to him, romantically, but she assured me that was not the case.
And why is that?
She's not of the same social status as the Frankenstein.
Yet you seem to have believed that she fancied William. What convinced you otherwise?
Well,
Please, Nurse Elka.
she said he was too much in the fields.
And what does she mean by that?
I don't know.
Is there anything else she said?
Only that he hunts too often, and that he jumps to conclusions, and that he smells like wood with an oddly shaped chin.
A strange list of complaints, but surely enough to drive a lower-class woman to hysteria and even murder.
No!
Elizabeth, please restrain yourself.
I wish to speak.
We will now hear from a volunteer character witness, Elizabeth Frankenstein. Elizabeth Frankenstein, are you fully aware of the consequences of today's proceedings and the facts of the case as they are yet revealed?
I am.
And do you swear an oath to aid this court in its search for truth and justice and the death of William Frankenstein, a brother to yourself?
I do.
Elizabeth Frankenstein, you have volunteered yourself as a character witness. How long have you known Miss Moritz?
For about 5 years.
5 years, you say. And in these 5 years, how would you have described her character as she revealed it to you through her service in your family's estate?
I am the cousin of the unhappy child who was murdered. Or rather, his sister. For I was educated by and have lived with his parents ever since and before his birth. It may therefore be judged indecent and of me to come forward in this strange occasion. But when I see a fellow creature about to perish through the cowardice of her pretended friends, I wish to speak. I have lived with Justine for, at one time, 5 years and at another nearly 2. During all of that time, she seemed the most benevolent and amiable of human creatures. She nursed Alphonse Frankenstein, my uncle in his last illness, with greatest care, and afterwards attended his son, Ernest, in his passing. She was beloved by all of the family. she was warmly attached to William, who is now dead. And as for my own part, I do not hesitate to say that, notwithstanding all of the evidence produced against her here today, I rely on her perfect innocence. And as to the bauble which the proof chief rests on, if she had willingly wanted that locket, I would have earnestly given it to her. So much do I esteem and value her.
A most emotional speech indeed. Thank you. It must be hard for you and your family. Elizabeth, I recommend that you get some fresh air. There's no time, of course, no time for you in your time of grief.
I am clear-minded. She is innocent.
Do you have any proof to offer?
My conviction?
Constable, would you be so kind and lead Elizabeth out to your fire? She would benefit from some fresh air. Justine Moritz, you stand accused of the death of William Frankenstein. Before we deliberate, do you have anything else to add to help in your defense?
I am innocent. I loved everyone in the Frankenstein family. And I mourned for Alphonse and Ernest and William.
And with that, the court will take that into consideration and retire. And weighing in a trial in the accused, Justine Moritz, in the death of William Frankenstein.
Why are you always absent when you want to get most, Victor? Justine needed you, and you abandoned her.
Justine is innocent.
That court doesn't seem to think so.
I had another one of my fits.
Your whole life is one big fit lately. Disappearing, talking to yourself. What happened? Victor, I would have given everything up for an innocent like Justine. What happened to you?
I'm not, well, I'm...
She will be hanged, Victor! Justine will hang for this, and a murderer still out in the woods! What is wrong with you?
I have to get back to Ingolstadt.
You have just arrived.
There's someone I need to find there.
Victor!
Do not shout, Elizabeth. Trust me.
I forbid you to leave! Not during all of this!
I will write as soon as I get there, and I will return as soon as possible.
Oh, Victor!
Where's he off to?
He is leaving.
Justice will be done, Elizabeth. Justine will pay for her crime.
She is innocent, Mother. I know it.
He had his locket, Elizabeth. That's a confession right there.
No. There's the constable.
The carriage is leaving.
Go on. I'll be there in a moment. Constable, what can you tell me of what you've heard in there?
I've known Justine for a long time. I know the family that took her in. Between here and Ingolstadt, I know everyone on the rail line.
Will she be found innocent?
The panel was set to vote tomorrow, but after they cleared the room, they called the vote early.
No. Can that be good?
The ballots have been thrown, all black. She's condemned to hang.
No! No!
I'm sorry. It's done.
You are to be married to Victor, are you not?
Who are you?
I am old.
What do you want with Victor and I? This is a most horrid day.
It's not what we want, it's what we know.
Who is she?
You can call her Gretchen. Nice to meet you, Elizabeth.
How do you know me?
We don't. We know Victor. We're from Ingolstadt. We've seen him there. We've seen things there. We've seen the things he's done there.
I should be going.
Don't you want to know what we've seen? Who we've seen?
I don't know what you're talking about. I
The woman.
Woman?
Fritzy.
Fritzy? Who is she?
She stays with him by the river.
I didn't know this. Why are you telling me this?
It took a train following Victor. The wealthy owe it to the unwealthy to keep their secrets.
What secrets?
Why your Victor has many secrets, and you have many fortunes.
Are you attempting to...
It's called extortion.
fiancé, and we will be paid for what we have seen.
Pity about your friend in there. Did she do it?
No!
Pity.
Henry! Henry,
So you have heard. Poor Justine.
I have just been accosted by the most foolish women. Olga. And the other one, Gretchen.
What?
Nothing. Who is Fritzy?
Victor, at Ingolstadt.
Say no more. You have told me about how ill he is. I thought in the time that he'd be home, he'd recover, but in the days that he's been back, his condition has only worsened. Will you do me the most valuable favor?
Anything.
Go after him. Make sure that he is all right. He abandoned Justine. I cannot abandon him. Please, go after him.
I will. Tell Elfie.
No, I will worry about Elfie. Just go. Protect him.
From what?
I know not. But I fear. Protect him.
Fritzy! You're still here, Fritzy?
I have nowhere else. No one else. The creature, Victor, the creature!
Silence! I don't know what we did that night. What we brought upon this country.
We made up.
I know what we did! Even now I cannot forget it. Those eyes. Hollow, then childlike, then evil. He follows me throughout the country, Fritzy. He follows me.
You are brilliant.
Brilliance is nothing we have done here. Evil. Only evil.
Victor,
That thing has killed Fritzy. I know it.
Yes. I have seen too.
You've seen that thing killed?
I have seen too much, Victor.
We have to destroy it. We have to destroy everything.
We can't do this on our own, Victor. We have to tell someone what we've done.
No.
Victor, the world deserves to know what happened here. What's still happening?
I cannot let anyone find out the evil I have summoned here.
Then I will tell them. I will tell them all.
They will never believe you.
It's done, Victor. This is over.
Doing
Constable! Help! Anyone! Victor, what are you... Victor, stop! We
I
can
have
tell
a
them!
reputation at stake of Beyonce! Is that you?
Frankenstein.
Have you come to show yourself at last?
Victor Frankenstein.
You were at Geneva. You killed William.
He was Frankenstein. I have killed. That night I met another. A woman. Did not kill.
You cannot know, but I can relate that you have killed her too. She will be hanged for your crime.
I did not kill.
What are you here for? To kill me?
You created me.
I did.
Brought me here.
To life.
But you beat me. Left me to die.
Where have you been living? Here?
With my family.
You have no family.
A-G-A-T-H-A. Agatha. F-R-A-U-K-E. Frauke.
They took you in.
They cared for me. Taught me. Told me
You were at Geneva. You killed William!
E-L-I-Z-A-B-E.
Never speak that name! Never speak that name!
She talks about you.
Vile creature, have you been watching my Elizabeth?
She talks about loving you. Zach, he told me about love. I need love.
Love is not something I can give you.
Her.
No! I can't even bring her back! I don't have the formula or the right equipment.
Yes.
How do you know? How do you know so much about me?
This.
You studied this? You were here. If I bring her back, you will only keep killing.
You will do this for me, or I will visit you on your wedding night.
You there, halt!
No accident, no harm.
There's a curfew on Ingolstadt. You must be aware. A man has been killed.
No, sir. Sorry, sir. On our way, sir. Good night, sir. Who was he, this man that was killed?
A student, Hedwig Clerval, strangled down by the riverbank. Black markings around the neck. Take caution, urchin. There are things much fouler than you two afoot tonight. A thick stench on the river.
Not half as thick as that of the old mill up the way.
That shut down structure? It's vacant, surely.
Terrible things have been happening in its shadow.
I see.
Valuable information we just gave you, Constable. Would fetch quite a penny if information were bought and sold these days.
You filthy wretch! I'll have you charged with something if you insinuate that I owe you anything.
We didn't mean to press, sir.
Now get out of here before I bring the law to you. What use is Ingolstadt or two strays huddled in the street? There's a curfew on. I trust you to observe it.
Off we are. Don't mind the Spanish constable.
You have been so kind to me.
Every woman should be treated like a princess on their wedding night, and that dress you certainly looked like one.
All the most expensive dresses are uncomfortable, Alka. You never guessed how uncomfortable they were.
I'm sure. This will be a new life for you, Elizabeth. Are you ready?
Of course. I have known Victor ever since childhood, Alka. You know that.
Married life is different.
But you've never been married.
I almost was.
Why, you never told me that.
It won't change you. I got close enough to find that out.
I don't think it will change me.
You may not, but others will. They will look at you differently. No longer the sweet young girl. In their minds, you shall transition from the young bride to a proper sight woman. And want their children.
Victor said he didn't want children.
All men want children.
That's what I thought. But he told me this evening at dinner.
Victor told you this.
Yes. He was going on about something that had been bothering him from university. I couldn't really understand him between the music and the congratulatory tidings. But then he just came out and said it. He said, Elizabeth, Lizzie, you must promise me to always be happy and to never have children. I only really heard the first part of this, so I agreed. But then, like tea that gets stronger as it's swallowed, I realized the second part of this. You must promise me to always be happy and to never have children.
You've had a long day. You both had. Peter's lost his father and Ernest to the fever, and William to, well, what happened, I'm sorry, I'm looking forward to it too. But I really love the idea of having children, at least until the second school exam.
Thank you, Alka. You have been so kind to me.
You will always be a friend of me, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, there you are. Where have you been?
Elfie, I have been getting ready for bed.
But the party's still alive downstairs.
Oh, Elfie, you have been too deep in the champagne.
Perhaps I should take the glass.
Oh, Elka, you're a kind kindness. Where did you learn to be so kind? I'm in need for a midwife one day. Once Henry proposes, I'll be full of children. The house will be full of children. Well, I suppose I'll be full too.
I better take you to your room.
But
Thank you, Alka.
Our job in this house is never done. Good night, Elizabeth, and congratulations.
Yes. I had wondered where you went.
I went for a stroll to check the grounds.
Check them for what, Victor?
You never know what might be out there in the fog.
Mary, you'd be more interested in me than in the fog.
Elizabeth,
Do you know how it felt tonight? When I would try and engage you in conversation with that countess or the earl, and you couldn't even put together 3 sentences. My husband, the scholar of English staff. They wouldn't know that by the simple conversation you had.
I have been much preoccupied.
Occupied with what? For the last year I've heard of you and your preoccupations. With university, with travels. But tonight, Victor, tonight, on the sacred night of our wedding, and I wait upon your paranoia.
Elizabeth, I've told you, it is for you who I am concerned. I've seen things, created things. I only wish to protect you. Did you hear that?
Only my husband making excuses for the things.
No, hush! Did you hear that? Thump, 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 there is Gary.
You are now, Victor, a creature of superstition. You abandon even your greatest love. Science.
You, Elizabeth, have always been my greatest love.
Second only to laboratory mice, tortured in the name of your twisted studies. Henry described them for me. He described the conditions which you subjected living things to.
Only those who have experienced them can fathom the enticements of science. In any other study you go as far as others have gone before you, and there's nothing left. There's nothing left. But in a scientific pursuit, there's continual food for discovery and wonder.
You feed yourself off of wonder while I
Elizabeth, I am yours for eternity.
Henry also described things I can't begin to conceive. For if I give you benefits of doubt, I may betray my own virtue. Yet if I leap to improbable bounds and conclusions, I may betray yours.
My dear.
Who is Fritzy?
Fritzy,
Look me in the eye and tell me, or I will not believe it.
Elizabeth,
Henry also looked away when I asked him if any other men had been working with you in your Ingolstadt lab. He turned in shame when I asked if you had any visitors. A letter came today. I haven't shared it. Murdered like poor William. Henry was murdered that day. I sent him to look after you in Ingolstadt.
Elizabeth, you must believe me. I
know these hands have not taken life. I know you are innocent, Victor. But this evening, I learned of an act in which I am not sure you are innocent in. Henry sent a letter addressed to me. I thought it was a wedding card, so I never opened it until tonight. It wasn't a wedding card at all. It was a warning. Warnings carry the most weight when sent right before death, as if straight from the grave. The letter mentioned things you never disclosed to me in your sparse and infrequent writings. You told me all about that other space you had rented, but he also mentioned a woman named Fritzy. Who is she? I've checked the social registers. I can't find her listing. Why all the time did you not invite me? When all the time she came and went from the place.
All right, think not these terrible thoughts which you are thinking. Fritzy was my assistant in science.
A lady scientist. Really, Victor?
Yes, we had experiments. We went to the ends of known physiology. In fact, we created life together.
I am your wife, Victor. I am the woman whom you are meant to create life with.
Elizabeth, you don't understand. We brought life to the lifeless. We brought life to a monster.
Victor, you are scaring me. You'll wake the whole house.
Wake them. Wake them all and tell them what I've done. Did you hear that?
I only hear you.
No, that. Thump, thump, thump. An echo from hell.
Victor, what is this senseless noise?
Mother, you hear him. Mother, you hear him.
What I hear is a man gone mad on his wedding night. What cause could she have given you to act like a monster, walking at the walls?
Mother, I am not worthy. Mother, I am not worthy.
Victor, you brush this thought out of your mind. You're my son, and that girl in there is your love. Since you were children, you have been bound together in love. You clearly are sick. Let me find the nurse to fetch a dram and ward off this fever chill.
Mother, I've committed an act unnatural to life and the sciences. Will no one hear me?
Victor?
I told you I would visit you on your wedding night.
Help! Help! Murder!
Now what is going on here?
Oh my goodness.
He's out there! He's out there!
Let's split up and go look for him. Come on. Come on.
What is the cause of this? So much death!
Mother!
What man bears the shame of this?
Mother, it is mine. All mine.
Then I have lost a daughter and a son tonight.
To the ends of the earth I will chase you and lay you to rest. Ask not for your fate, for it is I, Victor Frankenstein!
Ha ha ha.